Hi, I'm Beth Borchik.
And I'm Megan Noguera.
And today we will be doing our presentation for History of Western Art 1.
And we're going to teach you today about two art pieces that were made way back when.
See you on the flip side.
This artwork is called the Mosaic fragment with the Dionysos procession. A mosaic is a picture depicted by stone or glass. The Romans used mosaics as a form of decorative art. Some examples are floors, palaces, and villas. This meant that those who had this artwork came from or had wealth. Although mosaics are generally viewed as being Roman, they also came from Greece and all of the Hellenistic world. Most of the mosaics are generally in geometric shapes, yet what was represented on the geometric shapes were all very different illustrations ranging from landscapes to combat and to wild beast fights. As the work became more prominent, the design's color and shape became more elaborate as well. It was created with layered pieces of wooden planks, cut hay, porcelain, gravel, clay, mortar, plaster was applied to the surface. Before the plaster hardened, stones or pieces of glass were placed in it. Large tiles or flat stones were placed around the edge of the mosaic. The designs were usually drawn on the surface. Some mosaics were done in a manner that they were perceived to be realistic and breathtaking. The specific artwork, the mosaic fragment with the Dionysos procession, used to be connected to a larger work on the floor of a dining room in a house of Dressa. The artwork speaks for itself, showing the Dionysos and his consort Ardenane on a cart. The Roman mosaics were viewed as minor arts but had a great amount of importance within society. The elaborate detailing of the artwork within the color schemes are shown throughout the artwork by only specifically using certain gem colors on certain aspects of the artwork. The use of neutrals, which were not considered to be colors in the art, are very prominent in the mosaic. The specific Dionysus procession was showing the god reclining on a four-wheeled wagon drawn by the centaurs. I think that's how you say it. Sorry, Professor. The mosaic served as a greeting panel for a dining table with 3 couches along with 3 slides used in ancient Rome, also known as a triglynia. This artwork of Dressa is different from others, seeing that it belongs to the Partner Triumph group, which also included other mosaic arts. We can see this by the way the chariot group was placed in the center, as if it were necessary for it to be placed in a specific order. But it could also be because the Antioch floor it had made it hard to depict the right half, which was lost. Even though the figures were faced in a 3/4 view, it creates an impression that it is static and centralized. More than 20 other fragments of this floor exist today, the majority which are in Berlin. Now, back to you, Beth.
Thanks, Megan. This is a work called Christ and Majesty from the Church of San Clemente, Spain. You can see this fresco in the National Art Museum of Catalonia in Spain. As you can see, the artist used an almost cartoon-like style to lengthen the subjects in this painting. The Christ in Glory pose that this fresco takes on is an iconic one that spans the Christian tradition. The pose consists of a depiction of Christ in the center sitting on his throne while other important figures surround him. The writing underneath the portrait of Christ translates to, "I am the light of the world." This specific work is based off of a text in Revelation telling of the final days. Also, on either side of his head, you can see 2 symbols that stand for Alpha and Omega, or the beginning and the end. Christ in this instance has 4 evangelists, or angels, around him. Beneath him and the angels' portraits are those of St. Matthew and St. Bartholomew, also the Mother of God. The bowl that Mary is holding is supposed to symbolize the blood of Jesus. This artwork was done by the Master of Tulle in 1123 AD. The Master of Tulle mainly did his work in northeastern Spain and is typically named as not only the greatest mural painter of the 12th century, but also a very prominent and important painter in his time, which was the Romanesque period. He is also considered the master of San Clemente, and although his works were very well admired, he himself was anonymous. His style was to make the subjects of the painting look as if they are interacting with the audience or the viewer. So here in this variation of Christ in Majesty, Christ looks as if he is telling the viewer the road to salvation. This can be deduced by the Alpha and Omega symbols on either side of his head, along with the words from John 8:12, I am the light of the world, included in this painting. Toul used a classic example of a Byzantine body. This entails a frontal picture of a figure with contrasting light and dark lines to express shadowing. This is done also in a very geometric pattern that may be influenced by an area of southern France where this painting was originally created. The coloring of this painting has been described by reflecting the influence of a remarkable variety of artistic traditions, including Roman, Carolingian, sorry, professor, don't know how to say that, Mozarabic, Italo-Byzantine, and Southern French. This specific painting is an apse, which is a large semicircular recess in a church with a half of a dome ceiling. This is typically where you would see a pulpit or an altar. So if you were in the congregation of the San Clemente Church in the 12th century, you would be listening to the priest speak right underneath this huge portrait of Christ depicting the end times.
Thanks for watching!
Hope you enjoyed!
See you in class!